Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, Tzu Chi volunteers in Vietnam are partnering with a local organization to distribute scholarship supports to needy students. As water resource is becoming more precious, many businesses in Taiwan are implementing new steps to reuse, reduce and recycle water. And we meet the principal of a kindergarten, Zhen Mei Yuan, who continues to care for the children in her community. In Vietnam, since the establishment of the New Shoot Scholarship Program, Tzu Chi volunteers have been helping underprivileged students in various districts. This time, the volunteers joined hands with the Ho Chi Minh City Union of Friendship Organizations and distributed scholarships in the Binh Thanh districts, helping a total of 146 students.
These are pictures captured by the volunteers in Binh Thanh district. Despite being an urban area of Ho Chi Minh City, many local residents here are still living below the poverty line. To help, Tzu Chi joined hands with the Union of Friendship Organizations to hand out scholarships to needy students.
I will study hard and won't let everyone down.
These children all came from less fortunate families, therefore tuition fees are often a heavy burden for them. To help, Tzu Chi provides them with scholarships and also teaches them positive concepts.
Tzu Chi volunteers taught these children a lot of positive ideas such as recycling, living a frugal life and donating money to a bamboo coin bank.
In 2009, Vietnam Tzu Chi volunteers began distributing New Shoot scholarships to needy students in different prefectures. This time, the volunteers arrived at the Binh Thanh district, helping a total of 146 students.
I think today's event is great. The volunteers not only provided us with money for school, but also taught us how to protect our planet.
I really support Tzu Chi's way of doing things. The children not only gaining understanding that the money is donated by the public, but also learn to reciprocate by donating money to the bamboo coin banks.
In the future, Vietnam Tzu Chi volunteers promise to continue accompanying children on their road to higher education.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy, Tzu Chi volunteers in the U.S. have been conducting relief distributions to help victims restore their lives to normal. As the short-term relief work has come to an end, the Tzu Chi New Jersey chapter and Red Cross have now started planning mid-term relief work. The Red Cross will continue to provide lists of needy people and cleaning tools, while Tzu Chi will offer manpower and aid supplies.
Here at Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters, a Burmese Chinese, Wang Guosheng, is here to help. He has never forgotten Tzu Chi's assistance in Myanmar during the floods that struck 4 years ago. Therefore, he also brings other Burmese Chinese to help pack the 5,000 condolence letters. A month ago, he went back to Myanmar to introduce Tzu Chi's missions to the government officials.
Tzu Chi's coordinator in Myanmar is Sister Li Jinlan. We've talked about expanding Tzu Chi's work in not just Yangon, but every corner in Myanmar.
Everybody is helping. Recently, the Red Cross in New Jersey sent staff to visit Tzu Chi and discuss potential future cooperation between the two NGOs. Learning that Tzu Chi's blankets were made from plastic bottles, the visiting staff were amazed.
So impressed. Your operation is amazing. Your building is beautiful, and the work that you do with the environment and to help people in need is wonderful.
We're going to go out and tell other people about what you're doing here and make sure those connections happen for you too. And Red Cross is here to serve all, so we see you're doing that, and we want to make sure that that happens.
Tzu Chi volunteers were also invited to visit the Red Cross headquarters in New Jersey, which is only 13 kilometers from Tzu Chi chapter.
You know what, I think we're going to have unlimited opportunities for us to work together and unlimited capabilities for us to work together as well with the resources that you have and with the resources that the Red Cross has, and because of our joint mission to help others.
The Red Cross promised to provide the list of needy people. Meanwhile, Tzu Chi will mobilize volunteers and supplies to help residents restore their homes to normal as soon as possible.
Tzu Chi volunteers around the globe are continuing to contribute their share to help Hurricane Sandy victims in the United States. One Tzu Chi volunteer in Ireland, Zhen Jijing, donated the money from garbage collection and haircuts to Tzu Chi. Meanwhile, Tzu Chi volunteers in South Africa held a food fair in China Mall, Johannesburg, to raise funds for disaster victims. Let's take a look. The recent wave of labour strikes in South Africa is an indication of the country's fragile economy. However, here in Johannesburg's China Mall, a table tennis competition has attracted crowds to the shopping centre. The other side of the mall is also bustling with activity, as Tzu Chi volunteers are busy making Chinese food to raise funds for Hurricane Sandy victims. Still wearing her apron, a Tzu Chi volunteer carries a donation box in hand and goes store to store to canvass for donations. Though media reports on the U.S. disaster were limited, the local residents did not hesitate to give a little of their love.
Thank you. Thank you, love. Thank you. Thank you.
This is already wonderful. Thank you. All the best to your business.
Apart from the Chinese community, everyone happily gives what they can.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
The love pouring in is a great example of how great love sees no boundaries in ethnicity or race. On the other side of the world in Ireland, Tzu Chi volunteer Zhen Jijing put his creativity to the test to come up with ways to save on living expenses and, in turn, donate the savings to those in greater need. Garbage collection costs €315 per year for a household, and then sort his own rubbish to save the cost.
Recycling work is wonderful.
A trip to the barber shop cost €15, and 10 visits would add up to €150. Thus, Zhen Jijing cut his own hair as well. In the end, the volunteer was able to set aside a total of €465 to help Hurricane Sandy victims.
I pray for peace and harmony and a world free of disasters.
From the Emerald Isle to the Cape of Good Hope, everyone is coming together to make a difference. Moving to Taiwan, the Tzu Chi Foundation staff in Hualien knows that every year local volunteers from South Africa will return to their spiritual homeland. Despite their hardship, these volunteers are devoted to helping others. Therefore, the foundation staff took the lead to canvass for donations for South Africa's local volunteers. Within a month's time, they raised a total of $1,060,000 NT.
Happily dancing and singing wherever the South African local volunteers go, joy follows. These bags in their hands are the result of many hours of hard work and commitment from Tzu Chi Foundation staff here in Hualien.
This bag has a significant meaning. This bag holds inexhaustible strength and willpower, be it intangible or tangible, and we hope to motivate them in this way.
Knowing that they are not affluent, the foundation staff took the initiative to canvass donations for South Africa's volunteer. Beginning November 1st, in just under a month, a total of $1.06 million NT was raised.
While these local volunteers take the front line doing Tzu Chi's work in South Africa, we want to be their backbone support. We are so grateful that through these volunteers, Tzu Chi's care and love is reaching the poor and suffering.
Each hug is filled with heartfelt gratitude as they accept these gifts from their counterparts in Hualien. These local volunteers actually have another wish to learn Chinese.
All over the world, it's easy to me to inspire masters Chinese with all languages.
The love that these local volunteers have moved many of the foundation staff members, who in turn are sending their love all the way to South Africa to help those in greater need.
Although Taiwan receives an abundant rainfall every year, due to the nature of its topography, most of this rainwater runs into the sea. Thus, water shortages remain an ongoing problem. Today, 9% of Taiwan's water reserves are used by its industrial sector. However, during water shortages, factories cannot cease operation or take more than their allocated share. As water resources slowly become stretched, water-intensive businesses have begun treating water as a valuable natural resource and have introduced water conservation and recycling steps into their manufacturing process. Thanks to these steps, companies have managed to cut down on their annual water usage, thus not only helping themselves but Taiwan's environment as a whole. Here's more.
We get about 8,000 to 10,000 tons of water from the creek.
Water from a nearby creek is first treated and then used in this manufacturing process here at this paper plant in Dayuan. Although the stream looks like an unlimited source of water, factory managers are quite careful with the amount they use.
Every day we use about 23 to 25,000 tons of water in our manufacturing cycle. In this cycle, we have added many recycling and filter machines to separate the water into different categories of use.
Water is required in almost every step of paper manufacturing. If this factory were to only use fresh water, its water usage would be astronomical. However, the factory now uses a combination of fresh and recycled water. In its waste paper disposal areas, the factory uses high-pressure water jets. The water used here is the cleanest possible. In other areas, however, recycled water can be used without problems.
Recycled water is treated in either a 300-point sieve, 200-point sieve, or 120-point sieve, which gives us 3 different levels of purity. The least pure is used in our pulp dispersion machine.
And this way, in just 3 years, from using 11 tons of water to make 1 ton of paper, the Zhengnong plant now only needs 8 tons.
Our Dayuan plant produces 500,000 tons of paper for industrial use a year. So if we are saving 3 tons of water for every ton of paper, that means we can save 1.5 million tons of water a year.
For water that can no longer be used again, it is first treated to eliminate any bacteria before being discharged. Although the company has had to pay for the setup and maintenance of this addition to its manufacturing process, the company feels it to be its social responsibility. TSMC, Taiwan's biggest wafer manufacturer, we see a similar commitment to recycling water usage. Here we have storage cans labeled in red, and over here those are labeled in blue, purple, and pink. The difference in color symbolizes the different water recycling systems. Here at TSMC, they will take all their wastewater and divide it into 25 categories.
This muddy water is water that has just been discharged from the machines. To it, we add a coagulant and a gelling agent. This gathers the impurities in the water into bigger structures, which then can be removed easier. The result, as we can see here, is water that is very clean and transparent.
Due to the precise nature of wafer manufacturing, the recycled water cannot be reused in the manufacturing process.
It gets used in the other operational areas, such as cleaning up sources of air pollution and in bathrooms and toilets. It is only when this source of water runs out that we turn to using tap water.
The company even uses rainwater and condensation as water sources. Taken together, these steps have allowed TSMC to save water equal to 1.2 Baoshan reserves each year. These two companies are a part of a growing industry-wide trend that is seeing water as an indispensable resource and thus one worthy of efforts to reduce its waste and usage.
Before Zheng Meiyuan was a kindergarten principal. She was a stay-at-home mom, but with her husband's support, she started her own kindergarten to help working moms take care of their children. In the past 35 years, her kindergarten has seen the expansion of up to 300 students. However, with Taiwan's declining birth rate, her enrollment has decreased to some 30 to 40 students. Many ask why doesn't she just retire, but Zheng feels that her calling to care and love these children outweighs anything else.
今天前夫武装，来，要跟妈妈说什么？拜拜。还有一句话呢。谢谢。
It's barely 7 as students arrive at the kindergarten. Others are waiting to be picked up. The morning ritual of picking up the children has not changed in 30 years.
At times in the car, the children would tell you stories and share with you what happened to them lately.
As we return to the kindergarten, something unexpected happened.
The teacher originally asked me to just take the students to the hospital, but I said we should contact the parents first to ask for permission.
As it turns out, a student has a sudden fever and a parent has to be contacted.
When a child is in our hands, we have a certain responsibilities to take good care of them.
Besides being responsible for her students' well-being, many times Zhen feels like a surrogate grandmother.
We only have 30 to 40 students, and out of those, around 10 come from single-parent families. Some other students live with their grandparents and only see their parents once a year. Every decision a parent makes leaves a lasting scar on these children.
Having fun playing with these children, watching them grow up, every one of them is just like her own grandchild. Zheng Meiyuan doesn't recall where she found the strength to enter this profession.
I'm from the countryside and I moved out to get a job when I graduated from elementary school. After I married, my husband said, let's start a kindergarten. So I thought I should attend vocational school to learn something related. And then I also took community school classes.
Besides making sure she's well educated in childcare, Zhen does her part to boost a child's self-esteem, as many of the children come from broken families.
Some children move around a lot, living here and there. They have to adjust to new surroundings all the time. Those children, you will notice they lack confidence and will hold back. On the outside, they look adorable, but they will hide in the corner.
As Taiwan's low birth rate continues, running a kindergarten such as this seems no longer affordable, but Zheng Meiyuan will continue on for as long as she's able to.
The hardest parts are the long hours at work, but when you see the kids grow up well and they will come back to visit you, it's all worth it in the end.
In Taiwan's Penghu, the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families held a year-end charity fair where various groups and participants gathered together to show their love to those in need. Local city volunteers sold meatless dishes in hopes of promoting vegetarianism to more people, and all the money raised was donated to the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families Penghu chapter.
At 6 a.m., kitchen volunteers in Penghu's Jinsi Hall are already busy cooking vegetarian meals, which are going to be sold at the local charity fair.
It's a good way to build up a sense of community. We can also seize this opportunity to promote vegetarianism.
It's much harder to promote vegetarian food in a fishing village. As long as we trust, it won't be that difficult.
The Taiwan Fund for Children and Families Penghu chapter was established over 40 years ago. At the end of every year, the organization regularly holds a charity fair where they hand out scholarships and supplies This year, a student who once received help wants to reciprocate.
Since we've received their help, I think it's my turn to help other people.
By promoting vegetarianism, Tzu Chi volunteers want to encourage people to help others, safeguard the environment, and further improve their personal health.
We want to invite more people to join the effort. We are here to promote vegetarianism and help the needy. We should constantly take part in such community events to show our support.
For those in need, we should do our best to help them. It's quite nice to join in such a charity event with everybody.
Local residents and Tzu Chi volunteers are filling the offshore island of Penghu with their love and warmth.
On November 18th, Taoyuan Tzu Chi volunteers and team of medical staff visited the Chengxing special home and held a free dental clinic for the children there. As most of the youngsters were afraid of receiving treatment, volunteers and doctors all patiently accompanied the children and treated them as their own family members. A trip to the dentist is a nightmare for most children, let alone for these youngsters with special needs. However, this doctor knows a special trick. Taking off his doctor gown, dentist Jian Zhichen, who has 8 years of experience in treating handicapped children, not only gets the children to let their guard down, but is also able to ease their tension with words of encouragement.
Without the doctor's gong, the students are not as scared to let you come into contact with them. They will understand we mean no harm and will interact with us. These students probably haven't had teeth scaling down for a long time, so it's great that I can help them.
Next to the line of dental chairs and equipment are medical staff and volunteers who treat these children as their own.
You see, they are all beautiful kids and the same age as my children, so I'm treating them just like my own children. I raised my children and watch them grow, so seeing these students here, I feel the same way.
While the medical team is busy providing dental treatment, volunteers also prepared a variety of activities for the children to enjoy.
They are more like children and don't think that much. They are simple and quite cute. Volunteer work has helped me learn to be more forgiving. I'm really happy because I get to help more people, and that's what I have learned here.
The visits to the special home provides a much-needed dental treatment for these children, and those who took part all relished in the joy of selfless giving. Going into autumn every year is the season in which Canada experiences a great amount of falling maple leaves. Cherishing any natural resources, Tzu Chi volunteers in Vancouver turned the leaves into rose-shaped flowers and gave them to senior residents at the local nursing home. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.